If you're having trouble losing weight, the problem might be the way you look at weight loss. Our next guest says you should try releasing the weight. Joining us with simple strategies for accomplishing just that is the author of Weight Release, A Liberating Journey. Welcome, Freeman Michaels. Good to see you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Hey, how are you?
Thanks for having me.
So I'm sure many people are wondering, just as I am, what is weight release? How do you release weight?
Well, it's not weight loss, because the truth is, if you lose something that has served a valuable purpose, now we're talking not just about the weight, but the patterns of behavior around food, you're going to have to find it to replace it. I was very heavy, and when I was heavy, I recognized that I was using food to cope with stress, anxiety. A lot of people use food as a way of protecting themselves, like they carry extra weight. So when you lose it, and you don't have any plan to replace it, you're going to gain it back. And that's why 95% of diets don't work. Now, this is a different orientation. This is an inside-out orientation. So what we want to know is what the pattern of behavior is really about. And it's usually about a need. So if we can find what I call a self-honoring way to meet that need, then the weight doesn't get lost. It gets released.
Yeah, that makes sense. How long did it take you to release your weight once you adopted this new way of thinking about it?
Well, I'll tell you, that's an interesting one, because once I adopted the way of thinking, I stopped obsessing about the number. Because the number on the scale, you know, I was a soap star in the middle 90s. I don't know if we talked about that.
Young and the Restless.
Young and the Restless, that's right.
I reckon.
And I was always 10 pounds from perfect. I had this crazy thing, this relationship with the scale. And I say, don't buy a scale. Get rid of the scale. It's an internal measurement. It's a natural weight. And you find it by taking care of yourself.
Right.
But what we do is we create practices. I call them self-care practices. So when we take care of our needs in that way, then we no longer need food as that coping, as that stress release, as whatever it is for you know, a person struggling with weight.
So let's talk about these strategies.
Sure.
One of them is stay in the safe zone.
Okay, so if we're talking about comfort, it's about self-soothing. It's about finding how to comfort ourselves. Because what happens is, it's an unconscious pattern. We get triggered, and then we go to food and we eat unconsciously, right? So we want to become, we want to become conscious of that pattern. And when you become conscious of the pattern, though, that's not enough. You have to go somewhere with it. So the safe zone is where you go, whether that's your allies, whether it's activities you've set up for yourself, so that you're really taking care of yourself. Does that make sense?
I need somewhere to go. I was just at my computer desk 2 hours ago eating, and I said, I'm just going to have a piece of chocolate, and then I ate the whole chocolate bar.
So let me offer a strategy.
Yes,
that's exactly
right.
No, okay, so this is really important, because when we're distracted, we're not conscious of what we're putting in our bodies. So I often say to people, turn the TV off. Don't eat in front of the computer. Make it sacred. So you're actually nurturing your body versus that unconscious, right? It was unconscious.
I was on the computer and I was just eating. If I stopped working on the computer and just sat there at my desk eating a candy bar, I would have just felt like, oh my gosh, I need to stop. I would have been aware what I was doing.
That's exactly it. So you did it. So you're conscious of the choice you're making versus unconscious.
That's it. You also talk about minimizing bad days. Now, we'd all like to do that, but how do you
so there's a couple things. One is how you set yourself up for the day. I work a lot with intention. So being intentional is a held thought, a positive held thought. So where am I directing my energy? And then recognizing where we slip into negativity. It's a little like a ball rolling downhill. So identifying things like gossiping and really unplugging from that. You know, you were talking about the computer and even shows maybe that are anxious. I unplug them because I recognize that that brings me on a ride and I don't want to go on that ride. So we interrupt the bad day by making positive choices. We stay out of the stuff that triggers us.
But I would imagine it's easy to fall into a pattern of not even being conscious of making these bad choices.
Well, that's it.
So you have to be more aware of what you're doing, what you're saying. And we do an inventory. See, the measure of success for me is fulfillment. It's the only accurate measure of success. And trust me, I mean, I spent my life with these external things that I thought would make me happy. It's an inside-out process.
Oh my gosh, I got to read your whole book.
This is going to be that. Freeman's doing a lecture this evening at the 6:30 at the San Francisco Jewish Community Center. You might want to check this out because this is going to be very helpful.
And we have all of his tips on our website, so go check that out. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
That's eye-opening for me. Eye-opening.